Howdy, howdy, howdy. Here we are, another Thursday night. And it would help if I turned my camera on, wouldn't it? Alrighty, there you go. At least there's one ugly you can look at. Alrighty. Tell you what, as y'all can see, we got a bunch of empty spots here on the panels, so you go in and check the links on YouTube, Facebook, MeWe. Click on the link, come on in. Let's see who all we got here. We got Jaffa, CSX Rail Line, Dave, BNSF, John, Wilmer, Indian Head Valley. How you doing, Andy? You still working? Here comes Eric. Yeah, that was a while back there, Eric. He's still watching Howdy Doody. Let's see who else I missed up here in the chat. Oh yeah, Michael. There you be. Well, anyone doing anything interesting this week? Getting ready to slow down on the train modeling and start getting outside. Now it's getting warmer. Alright, Eric, I'll give you that one. He said I started out saying howdy. He thought he was on the wrong show. I guess if you want to talk about that, let me see if I can get my world magnifying viewer. Hold it up here in front of me and say hey to all the good friends out there. I think that one was Romper Room. Yeah. Dwight said, funny, now that it's warmer, I could do more in my garage train room. Yeah, I guess that's true. You could try putting a few more heaters out there during the winter time. Alright, let's see. Eric he's building couplers for N-scale. Justin is building an N-scale sawmill. That'll be good. You have to post some pictures there, Justin. Uh-oh. CSX rail line. He said he had to tear it down. He'll rebuild it later, at a later date. Yeah. Dave said it's time for him to hide in the air-conditioned spaces. He's getting hot, hot, hot in Arizona. Yeah, imagine it is. Uh-oh, we got two Dwights now. Yep. Yeah, Michael's saying warmer weather means he's getting ready to start flying RC planes. What do you do, put wings on your trains? Oh, here you go. We got the Grain Express. Said, good evening, gentlemen from India. How do you do? Wilmer said he's working on the backdrop. He's hand painting it. I guess I could be a little funny. Is that finger painting, Wilmer? How you doing, William? He said, if you're running DCC, do you need a reversing unit with a turntable? Yes, sir, I do believe you do. Because when you think about it, when that turntable goes around, your polarity switches on you. Yeah, Indiana. Sorry about that. Hence the Grain Express. All right, Kenneth says he's ripping out an old 130-foot turntable, installing a newer with advanced module, hopefully, and 6 Stahl Walters roundhouse to replace the Vollmer 5. Wilmer, I'm just messing with you. Of course, it's not going to look like you fingerprinted it, painted it, or printed it, whatever. All right, Eric says yes, you do need a polarity reverser because polarity changes. But other ways to do that mechanically with the turntable and conductive rails in the base with gaps. Dwight, North Star, since we got 2 now, he said he's going to do some airbrushing projects. Oh, that's a good question there, CSX. He's saying, what do people use for splicing very thin signal wire? Yeah, you couldn't stand it, could you, Andy? He said, Johnny got a DJI Osmos Mobile 2 Gimbal 2. Because I just got a DJI 3-axis gimbal for my video camera. Yeah, he got the one for the cell phone. They do a good job. Dwight said the motor that turns his turntable is DC, but the rails are DCC, automatically reverses. Okay. Oh, okay. He's talking about stripping the wires down CSX rail line. Uh, there's a number of different strippers. Ones that you squeeze like a pair of pliers. They won't do that smaller, finer wire, but you can buy the ones kind of look like wire cutters. They're just real thin, got a whole series of holes in them. That might work for you. If that doesn't do it, only thing I'd say is be very careful. Use a razor blade knife or a pocket knife. Roll the wire across the edge and pull the insulation off. I've done a lot of that myself. Huh. Drew. Yeah, airbrushing is more like paint shooting. Okay. Hey, Ralph, how you doing? We got plenty of room up here on the panel if you want to come in. Anyone else wants to come in, just go to where it's posted. Click on the link and it'll bring you right on in here. Mr. Dave's here. Here comes somebody. Hey, Andrew. Or can you hear me? Nope. Put another quarter in, try it again. Well, there, Bob.
Yeah, we're the only ones here.
Andy or Andrew was trying to get in, but he got his name on the screen, but that's as far as it went.
Weird.
So what's up?
Oh, just the usual. Been having a bad week, so I was like, it's gotten better, but you know, time to get back into the swing of things, I think.
Yep. Well, I know how it goes about bad weeks. Mine wasn't too great either.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there doing laundry. I got 2 loads coming out of the washing machine, and the dryer went belly up.
Yeah. Took my car in because of some issues with the check engine light and air conditioning. You know, it's getting hot now. So they come back with a diagnosis. And it was, oh, you need timing chain replaced. You need air conditioning lines replaced because the power steering pump was rubbing up against the air conditioning line and rubbed it thin, so that's why it's leaking. So now you need power steering line, and your steering gear is broke or leaking. So you need that. Oh, hey, let's just throw in, you need front brakes.
Yeah. Mr. Curtis.
So $10,820 later.
Yeah, really.
Like, oh no. You're going to charge me more than the car is worth plus what I owe on it? So it's going to get figured out. I'm probably going to trade it in here before the end of the month and just get rid of it.
Yeah. So how you been? We haven't seen you around in a while.
Been busy.
Facebook jail, right?
Last month, yeah. I got a lot done though.
Yeah, I commented. I was wondering how many bodies you could bury in that dirt.
Oh, I'm telling you. Yeah, it's been a productive month not being allowed on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, Andrew.
Imagine.
Hey, how's it going, Johnny?
Down in the basement.
Yeah.
Seeing what other kind of big projects you can put in that huge room. Never mind.
There it is. Getting ready.
Yeah.
Yay. Well, that's coming along nice.
Well, you coming along nicely. That's where I got off before I took on the bridge.
Oh, okay. Well,
Shoo.
it's still a lot of work.
Yeah, I got to kind of go back through it and see what's gone out of gauge, what's what, who, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
all that good stuff.
Huh.
And you got to raise it up. Let's see, 2.5 inches.
Mm.
Make it for Fremo.
Yeah.
There's already coming off the other way. One of them. Single track. Going to go from 12 inches. It sure looks a lot different than 12 inches, but it's 12 inches. It'll spread out to 24 in 4 different spots. So that's what I'm up to. It'll keep me busy for some time.
Yeah. Keep you out of trouble.
Well, I don't know about keeping me out of trouble. It'll be busy. And then we start to...
Has anybody used that ground goop?
Yeah.
And then we got to go 4 of these.
Yeah, I've used ground goop.
Did you add the Lysol like it said to?
One time I did.
How long did it take for that smell to go away?
I don't know because I can't smell.
Can't smell.
And I didn't put that much in it either.
I've had mine up for over a month, man, and it still stinks.
Yeah. Quite honestly, I didn't put any more in after that because that was actually just to, what was it? Something about to keep it from going bad or something or whatever.
Yeah, from getting mildew in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I smell when I come in here now is that Lysol.
Yeah.
It eventually should go away.
I sure hope so.
How much did you put in it, knowing you?
3 caps.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that the Pine Sol smell?
Oh, no.
Okay, because that's all I smell right now. Because they're cleaning.
I got the original Lysol.
Mm.
Yeah.
It seemed like the first batch I made up, I put in more than 3 caps.
That's
Yeah,
why you
it's
can't
just
smell anything.
I lost mine a long time ago.
Cap or smell?
Do what?
Sense of smell, I take it.
Yeah.
It's always like that. What's that smell? I don't smell anything.
Curtis Ralph says it's not fully dry yet. That's the reason why you're still smelling it.
It's been a month. How long does it take to dry?
How thick is it? 6, 8 inches?
No, quarter of an inch, if that.
Oh, yeah, I would think it'd be dry. Mr. Phil.
Anyway,
Hey, what's happening, guys?
Hey, how
Hey,
you
buddy.
doing?
I'm doing all right.
That's good.
well, Andy, it wasn't the power unit.
It was a guess, man. When with computers, you have one of two situations with most parts. If your hard drive won't read, or a power supply, for example, hard drive won't read. It could be the hard drive, it could be the motherboard that has the controller on it, or it could be the cable between the two. With the power supply, it could be a motherboard or a power supply. There's only two ways to figure that out. You either have to have a tester, or you have to swap a power supply, or whatever, swap parts, which, mechanics do that to us all the time and make us buy the starter and then the alternator and then a new battery until they figure it out. With computers, you either have to have testers, which are expensive, or you just swap parts. And a power supply was the cheapest thing to try.
Yeah, well, it didn't work. And I was telling Phil earlier, I went through hundreds of pages on Amazon and eBay on computers. And I found one almost identical to what I had, $100 refurbished. It's like, what the hell?
Sure.
So I was supposed to come tomorrow, came yesterday or today, and just plugged it in. And the only difference being mine was Windows 8. This is Windows 10.
Yeah, that's an improvement anyway. Windows 10 I think Windows 10 was pretty awful. People complain about Windows 10. I think Windows 8 was pretty awful. I think people complain about Windows 10. I think Windows 10 is the best operating system Microsoft's ever produced by any measure you can make.
It's gotten a lot better, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now what I got to figure out is, because all my train pictures of this railroad from day one were on that computer.
You can still get them off. Your hard drive is, possibly. Your hard drive
I pulled the hard drive off. Now again, the system is Windows 8 that's on there.
That's okay.
That's fine.
It same file system, so you could buy a little adapter, hook that hard drive laying on a table to your desktop, and it'll read as if you plugged a USB key in.
It'd be like a D drive. Yeah, it's going to be a data drive now.
That's right. And it'll read. It's the same Microsoft's Windows NTFS file system. NTFS. That's the file system. It'll read as the same file system. You can pull the data off. Now, in the future, once you get this corrected, you really should do some little backup program like Carbonite or something. That's $5 a month. $5 a month. Back it all up to the cloud, and you're covered. Or get some little piece of software for free off the internet, like Arabicus or whatever, some little free backup utility, and back it up to a hard drive. You need a backup.
Yeah, well, Mark was telling me, because y'all know Mark. Mark takes 1 million pictures. But at any given time, no matter where Mark is at, if there's something he wants to show you, he can go on his phone and show it. It's like, your phone can't hold all the pictures you take. And he said something about they're up in Pinterest, and he's got an account, and he just pulls them down as he needs them.
Maybe. I would say that he's probably syncing, depending on the phone, he's either syncing with Google Photos, used to be called Picasso, Google Photos if he's on an Android, or with iCloud if he's on an Apple. So I do the same thing. I pay $2.99 a month for 200 gigabytes of space for pictures. So I've been taking pictures since my first iPhone back in 2008 or 9, whatever the iPhone 3GS came out. I've been taking pictures all along, and I've never lost a picture. They're automatically synchronized. I can pull them up on any computer I'm on and on my phone. And if I take a picture of something like right here with my phone, I can go straight to the computer and show it to you on the computer without transferring it, moving it, or anything.
You're on
All
the
right,
$2.99.
Something like that. $2.99, $3.99, something like that.
I'm on the 99-cent plan.
Yeah, well, I run out of space. That was like 100 gigs, and I'm at 200, 250, 300 gigs. Just pictures, because I do not back up my phone to iCloud.
Curtis, I got a question for you.
Okay.
It's from Ralph.
Ralph.
Yeah. What is your mixture for ground goop?
It was 4 cups, 2 cups of glue, 2 cups of water, and a quart of paint, and the 3 caps of the Lysol.
That's
It was a 4 cups of the vermiculite, 4 cups of the celluclay, 2 cups of glue, 2 cups of water, and the 4 cups of
Fine salt.
paint.
For paint, yeah.
That's not.
And then
Go ahead.
So what's
Then
the Lysol for?
it's supposed. Well, that was just part of the original
Recipe.
recipe called for it. So if you're not using it right away, it won't get mold on it.
Yeah. Originally, it's 1 cap of Lysol, 1 cap of Lysol concentrate per gallon of ground goop. I put well less than a cap in it, and I only do that if I'm not going to use it right away. And so I'll make up ground goop. If I plan on making it the next day, it's kind of like chili. It gets better the next day when all the flavors marry together. So if I plan on using ground goop tomorrow and I'm running low on it or something, I'll make it up the night before so that the celluclay can soak the stuff in. I don't use the regular recipe though. I'm adamantly opposed to using white glue in it. I use Mike Confalone's recipe for it, which is no white glue in it. But I put a touch of Lysol in it, and I never put it in right away. Only if I haven't used it up in the first week or so, I'll go back and I don't use a cap. I just put a little douse of the stuff. I mean, a few little drops are fine.
What kind of paint did you use, Curtis? Was it latex or
House paint. Latex house paint.
Yeah.
Yep.
Flat.
Cheapest stuff you can buy.
just whatever color you want in it, right? Basically.
Yeah, they call this fawn something. Just a brown.
Yep.
It's not
Gentle.
Thorny Branch.
Gentle fawn. Yeah. But like I said, it just stinks.
Yeah.
But it's hard. I don't know how you could say it's not fully cured, but in regards to what you were saying, when I first made the mix, it was like soup, and
Yes, a lot of water.
feels like just add some more celluclay and the vermiculite and get it back in the thing. So that's what I did. And then he's like, well, don't go putting it down. You got to wait 24, 48 hours for everything to gel together.
Yep.
And that's what I did. And then when I opened it up, I about passed out from the Lysol smell.
Well, the
It's
original recipe doesn't call for very much water. Lou Sassy's original recipe calls for a few spoonfuls of water or something like that, a quarter cup of water as needed. And the only reason you add water is to help it mix a little bit. So, and I have an order that I apply the process to. I do not put vermiculite in it to begin with at all. I mix celluclay paint with a touch. I put paint, a little bit of water, loosen the paint up a little bit, and then start adding celluclay. And as I can mix the celluclay in, because I don't like a recipe, because humidity and everything affects it, I start adding celluclay until I get it to that soupy mixture, and then I add a little bit of vermiculite. And then if I need to put a little more celluclay, I do. But I don't like a one-to-one relationship of vermiculite. It's way too coarse of a texture for my personal preference. And you can't sand it down to get it smooth because it's just too coarse. So I use 3 parts celluclate and 1 part vermiculite or something like that. Of course, I don't measure it.
I don't know. I had no problem sanding it with a 40 grip belt on a belt sander.
Oh, well, yeah, that might do that. Yeah, if you take an angle grinder to the sucker, you can always sand it. That's right.
Yeah, you get a nice Makita angle grinder. Just, get the sparks going and everything.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, that's the whole purpose of the ground goop, to to begin with is to give texture to a flat space.
I agree.
So,
It's a matter of where you're using it. So I use more or less vermiculite. So in my base mix, then I'll make a gallon, I think it is, a little gallon thing of it. I'll make, whatever, 3/4 of a gallon or something at a time. And I use some vermiculite because it helps bind it together, but it's quite a bit less. Sometimes when I'm going on the steep side of the hill where I want leaves and stuff for underbrush to stick, I add more vermiculite to that mix in that little, those little handy dandy paint things with a little handle on it you can buy at Walmart to use to hold up in the air on a ladder. I use one of those. I duck a little over into it, add a little vermiculite as I need to. But then when I want to make like dirt roads or gravel roads or something, I don't want very much vermiculite in it because I want to be able to sand that roughly smooth before I put the powder, dust of stuff for the stocking to get a dirt road.
There you go.
yeah, this stuff's still potent. But that's,
That's it.
so I just mixed it up, covered it up with the saran wrap.
Yep.
Unfortunately, my wife doesn't know I took her bowl, but
Mine got mad too when she found out about took her plastic.
You don't get out of it either way. I went to the dollar store where I could buy the cheapest little disposable kind of, the Rubbermaid containers that were disposable. I bought several packs of those things, and I still got given a hard time as if I had stolen her good ones. So
This picture was from when I was a kid. That's how good this plastic pitcher is. And I'm like, well, this is an old pitcher. I can do whatever I want with it. No, she was using it for doing some mixing herself of, plant food and everything else. Like, where's my pitcher? And then she was mad at me when she found it caked with a hydrocal. I was like, you have to clean this off. Yeah, I know.
I've been meaning to buy one of those. Those little rubber balls you see people use so that you can just let the hydrocal set up in it, and then you just flex it and it all busts out of there.
Yeah, I got one from Woodland Scenics.
Yeah, right. I haven't bought one of those, but they really look interesting. I want to buy one of those for what little plaster work I do.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of works, but I tend to not use the traditional mixing. So I don't actually mix it in that big one. I'll measure it in there because I'm usually making too much, and I'll put it in the, replaceable plastic pitchers that I can buy for $1 or something. And so if I ever crack those, I can throw them out and get another one.
That's a ticket, Phil, and that's even in your color, buddy.
Yeah. Yes, it's silicone. It's a baking pan. I got it at Michael's for like $2 on sale.
So when you mix plaster in it, you just break it out. You don't have to clean up.
Mix whatever I want with it, and then when it dries, you just flex it. It pops right out. And It was a lot cheaper than what the Woodland Scenics bowl is.
What I really like that one gives you a flat surface. So if you laid that somewhere flat, poured a 1/4 inch of hydrocal in the bottom of it or something, you could pop out a whole sheet and carve brick or stonework in it. That would be kind of handy.
Yeah, if you wanted to, yeah.
He's been building his house with that, just making bricks out of it, and
Wood.
stacking them up.
Yeah, making one stone at a time.
Yep.
He plans on having his house done sometime in the 2300s. About the time Star Trek Next Generation comes on. His real world. He'll have all his bricks made.
He was practicing this winter making a snow fort out in the yard.
Yeah, Ralph said, Andy, you can use an old basketball.
An old basketball. Wow.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Ralph comes up with some of the craziest ideas. I have a hard time disputing them. They're always quite logical. Who in the world would have said, I need a bowl? And who would have said, well, let me go saw this basketball in two? Exactly, what kind of, what personality makes you think of that stuff? That's good stuff, though.
Or at least in 2/3.
Yeah, there you are. Yeah.
And speak of the devil.
Yeah.
If save you even the $2 that Phil spent on the pan, if you got an old basketball lying around, just cut it in half.
Yeah, we're just
Or just
talking
go buy
about
it.
that.
And that's the same thing. It's flexible after it's dried, so just pop it out.
You get those little plastic inflatable balls at Walmart that they have in the great big bins all the
Exactly.
time.
That's
You
another one. Yep.
do that.
Yeah, but there's only one problem though. So
What's the
you got your half a bowl, and you got it all filled with this plaster. You go to set it down, it's just gonna go because there's no flat surface on it.
Yeah, it might roll around. Well,
Actually, if you set it down hard enough, the bottom will dent in and make a flat spot.
well, the weight should hold it, kind of like a bobble. You remember those things that, don't fall over, whatever.
We
plaster's in the middle of it. It's gonna roll around on the plaster and not done.
Yeah, but Ralph. Now, Curtis knows I'm only kidding about this, but you told him just kind of plop it down hard. Knowing Curtis, he'll go, yeah, he said plop it down hard, and he'll plop it down.
Yeah.
Then he's got
Yeah, it's all
Old
gone all
Faithful
over the
coming
place.
up out of the bowl,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he didn't tell me how hard to plop it down.
Kind of reminds me of when I was a kid. There was this commercial about how to make Oscar Mayer bologna. You just take a Oscar Mayer wiener and you lay it in a flat place and you smash it, right? So I was pretending to kind of emulate the commercial at the dinner table with a plate of spaghetti, and my hands didn't stop, and it went everywhere. Of course, my dad's looking at me like, and we all started laughing. Like, you couldn't make this stuff up. It's like, well, it's like I made a mess.
Did one better.
Yeah.
This is, we open up a bottle of Coke, and he says, "Hey, see what happens if you put our pixie stick into it." And you know what happens when you pour a pixie stick? It starts coming out, and then you put your finger over there to try to stop it. We sprayed the whole ceiling in the kitchen. Boy, was my mom mad. Mostly at my dad.
Saw another one that says freeze Mentos in ice cubes and drop them in your party glasses, and eventually it's going to give them a surprise in their soda.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mentos and Coke is rather exciting.
Yeah.
I think Diet Coke, is the one they say is more extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever one has more carbonation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've done that before. Shake them up and throw Mentos in it. Shake, put the lid on real quick, shake them up, and then run like heck because it blows pretty quick.
Phil, what are you using? What are you doing there?
He's airbrushing.
That's
He's got his mic
airbrushing.
muted.
Hey, I'll give you guys an idea of what I got.
What I'm doing is I'm taking a mechanical brown 0.7 millimeter lead, and I'm going in between the seam lines of all the doors on the switcher engine just to make them a little darker than what the wash ended up making them. So that's what I'm doing.
Now, your wash, was that a water type of wash?
It was a Vallejo acrylic base
Okay,
wash.
so it was a water type
No,
of
it
wash.
wasn't. No, it wasn't. I take that back. It was my oil and oil paint. Those artisan oil paints.
From the
sent
tube?
From the
Okay.
tube, mixed with this turpentine by
Oh,
Grummenbecker.
don't use turpentine.
It works though. I mean, yeah, if you start rubbing on it, the paint's
No,
gonna
what-
go off.
No, that's not the point. One of these days, you're going to find the turpentine's going to melt the plastic. Same with
really?
same with turpenoid.
Huh.
And when you put the wash on, was the surface semi-gloss or gloss, or was it flat?
It was gloss.
Okay.
It was gloss. Yeah.
Now you done it.
Now I done it. Damn it, Ralph. Every time I think everything's going good, you go and poop on my parade.
No. Like guys have good luck, just like guys have good luck with pan pastels on their cars. I won't use it on my cars.
That damn Ralph.
I don't want my engine melting.
I'm melting.
Yeah, I Started
It's like
looking at
there's a guy here locally that still uses brake fluid to take paint off, and it works beautifully. But
Yeah.
don't ever squeeze the shell after you've done that, because
Really?
you'll crack it all to wretched.
Well, that's how you have to put it back on. You got to squeeze it a little bit.
Right. So brake fluid makes it brittle.
Ah. Okay.
Who do you think is some of the size of the blocks of this thing? There you go.
They're big.
There you go. There you go. There you
Wow.
go.
See, current keepers, man. Put caps in the locomotives and skip it all.
What are you using to hold it together?
Right now it's soldered, and what I'll end up doing is I'll take some circuit board ties and then cut the gaps on them and solder them in place, and then I'll cut the gaps on the rail. And
So wait a second. Are the gaps just marked with a marker right now?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought maybe you had them filled with
No,
epoxy
no.
or lead or something.
But you can see this is just in one spot, and I got this in 4 spots. So you
Okay.
got, I don't know. So somebody asked one time, says, how many blocks are you going to have? I said, I don't know yet. I don't know.
Somewhere in the neighborhood of 200, but
Well, if you think about it, this is very much a case where you would actually have a power operator. It would be as independent of the rest of the railroad. I hope. We're going to see how this all works. I think I figured out how to do the electrical, Andy.
yeah.
Now I just got to figure out how to program Arduino.
Well, that's not too bad. The biggest advantage with Arduino that I've thought for model railroading, which I'm moving toward using ESPs, but the biggest advantage with Arduinos is the vast amount of model railroading work we want to do has already been done by somebody else. All you have to do is, borrow a bit of code. Picasso said, and Steve Jobs famously quoted, good artists borrow, great artists steal. So just steal a bit of code, copy the bits you like.
Here's what I think the solution is to that octagon. I started thinking about it when I was building the bridge, and I says, well, if I cut that right in half, I can put a positive lead on one side, negative lead on the other, and I could run through one of the rails if I cut all the gaps. So that got me to thinking. It says, well, if I could do a single pole, double throw, center off switch, run the lead from the rail to that center lead, and then the other 2 leads, the top and the bottom one, will be either plus or minus. But then I got a whole bunch of cable I have to run to a tower operator's table, which I'm probably going to have to build one of those anyhow because of the space I've got over here. So that got me to thinking, what about a single pole, double throw relays? Arduino, they are available.
Absolutely.
And then from there, going to the table through Wi-Fi.
Yeah. And you can buy blocks of 16 relays on a single board from Amazon for a few
I
bucks.
haven't seen those for a single pole double throw. I haven't found those yet. I've seen singles.
Okay, let me look again. But yeah, okay.
But that's, I think, the solution's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, relays are dirt cheap. I really am much bigger fan of these solid state relays. They're basically transistors of a sort, but they're biased. They have a feedback loop to hold them at an open. So a relay is just a latching magnetic switch. Obviously, we all know what that is. There's a way to wire a transistor, but you can buy it as already assembled component they call a solid state relay, and it's a relay that biases itself to stay on. So when you latch it, the feedback loop will keep it on as long as the power's on the circuit. And in order to reset the relay back so you can set it somewhere else, your circuit just pulls the power from it. With Arduino having built-in pull-down resistors, it's super easy to bias that thing. And there's a lot of code that already uses it.
So essentially what I'm thinking of doing is I'm taking with all the relays, you got the 2 outside leads, for lack of knowing whichever we want to call them. That would be your DCC bus line.
Yeah, your feed source. Yep.
And then depending on which way you've got that relay or switch thrown is depending on what the polarity of that little block So essentially, you're gonna have to get a. I won't say a code, but basically you have to know the right combination of levers or switches to throw to get the
Yep.
route.
Yeah, the thing you have to remember in DCC, there is no positive negative.
Yeah, I know. I'm just using that as a.
So you have to go. You have to color code it. Yeah.
Let's call it a black and a red if you want to.
Now, a beautiful thing you have going for you in some degree is that there's no reversing sections. You have no AR loops to deal with or AR. However, the moment you hit a crossover on an adjoining module, you do have a problem. So you do have to adjust for that somehow and account for auto reversing. My instinct is a kind of combination between an old school way of doing it, using Arduinos to control an old school way to do it in an effort to reduce the number of components that you need. If you had to have a relay for every single section of track, now granted, you could tie up a few of those to the same one, but we used to build diode matrices to throw solid-state solenoid turnouts to build a yard ladder. So you'd have 6 yard tracks, you'd put a button on each one. If you hit this button, it would use a matrix of diodes, which you could buy like 1,000 for $8 on Amazon. It would throw the requisite or the required turnouts, whatever it was. Diode matrices are super easy, and there's really good documentation on how to do those specifically related to model railroading. And it would seem like a combination of a diode matrix to provide power and then a route selector that used relays or...
Honestly, with what I'm building here, you can turn locomotives.
If you have a crossover between the 2-track main lines. It requires a crossover. On that module, there's not a way to turn around until you have a crossover.
That's why I got to put a crossover over onto the first module coming off of it.
Right, but that can keep you from having to put ARs through any of that crazy complicated track work and allow your ARs to be, say, on a straight section of main line. You probably need 2 ARs, one on one of the double track main lines, one on, maybe one on each, depending on what modules are joined.
All I know is that if I think about it in the very simplest form of electricity is a single pole double throw switch. And if I can do that, then I should be able to do it electronically.
You can do that. You just end up with a lot of... Okay, so yes. I know what you're trying. What you're doing. Your concept of it. We've talked about this before. Is kind of a mental exercise. What's the simplest way to do it, regardless of how many components it would take? What's the simplest way to get the result? You could do it with a whole bunch of single pole, double throw switches. It would require 80 of them or something, but it would be entirely possible to do it with 80 of them. Now the entire effort is not in figuring out how to wire it. It's been with your 80 or 60 or 90, whatever single pole, double throw switches. Now the effort is entirely an effort in reducing the number of components. That's all. Just simplifying what you've already figured out.
So that's why I'm going forward with it, because I think there is a solution.
Oh, without a question. Honestly, at this point, it's just a choice of whether you want to deal with more programmatic problem. Do you want more code? This is always the case. This is true of every single one of our railroads. Do you want more code, more software, or do you want more hardware? Would you prefer to copy and paste code set behind a computer, or would you prefer to solder while hanging out under your lab? That's the 2 choices.
So somewhere along, I'm going to say the next 3 to 5 years, I'm going to have to learn how to write code.
For one, it's not that hard. Number 2, if you don't have any interest in actually learning the code, and you don't have many other projects that make it worth spending the 40 or 50 hours to learn it, I don't think it'd take you that long, though. You're a smart guy, number 1. Number 2, you're only going to try to do the certain select things. However, there's websites online you could go to, pay a man for 2 hours of his time, and he'll just write the thing for you. So Lloyd did it. Lloyd found a contractor online, paid the man to write him a bit of Arduino code, paid him for an hour of his trouble. It would have taken him I don't write Arduino code all day, every day. Not that, fresh in my mind either. It would have took me days or, several hours of several days to have worked it out myself too. This guy knows, these guys are experts in that stuff. They do it all day.
So, yeah, this is heating back up again.
Well, if you're getting the track work laid, at the point you're at with the track work being, it's going to be rather soon before wiring is going to be a problem. to solve.
Yep.
So, Curtis, you still there? Or are you on the phone?
Yes. No, I'm here.
Going back to Andy's comment before in your hard drive, this is what you want to get. I don't know whether you can see it very well.
Yeah, those are okay. I like those.
It's this here actually takes the mini drive, a standard drive, or a SATA drive. So an IDE drive, a SATA drive, and it transfers. It's like plugging in a memory stick.
3.5, or can you go 5 1/4?
That cost $8.95 from Banggood.
Yeah, I mean, even on Amazon, they're $20 or $15 or something. They're relatively cheap.
Yep. It's called a hard drive docking station.
Yeah, we keep those on our workstations at the office, and because we're flopping drives in and out of them all the time. Now here at the house, I've just got the little cable, so if I want to hook a hard drive up like that, I just throw the hard drive out on the desk and cable it up.
Well, I scooped it up because $8 and shipping was free. With shipping to Canada these days, it's ridiculous. And when they said free shipping, I said, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and that's called a docking, hard drive docking.
Yeah, hard drive docking station, something like that.
There it is right there. That's the name that's on the front of it.
I have no idea what kind of hard drive was in that other one.
Well, you could look at it. Well, okay,
Did it have a long plug and then a 4-pin short plug?
I'm gonna get it right now because I don't know what.
And the long plug was probably about 26 pins?
40?
Or
I think 40.
28 pins? Oh, maybe.
40. I think 26.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I think.
40
pins is IDE. IDE's been gone for 15 years. I
know, but they still have it in here.
Oh yeah, they're not.
Okay. What did I do? Cameras. Okay. It's got these pins here, which are 15 pins.
It's the USB or serial drive.
Yeah, SATA.
And then it's got this thing.
Yeah, that's your data cable there.
That's your power.
Yeah, that's the power
cable. That's the data cable, Ralph.
Oh yeah, it says Seagate.
SATA.
Test.
You'll say serial ATA or SATA. What are the two?
It says SE. It's Seagate.
Yeah,
it's the name of the hard drive.
That's the company.
Yeah, that looks like a serial ATA.
Yeah, that's a serial drive. That's the serial data cable right there that's coming off of it.
Yeah.
Oh, if it was an ATA drive, you'd see that big old fat ribbon and heartbeat. But a normal person does not have an IDE drive anymore because the systems won't last that long.
Yeah, you can plug that right into the other port on the motherboard and as a secondary hard drive.
That's right. Yeah, you'll have another port. Yeah, you'll have another port on the motherboard, even if you had to unplug, because they are Dell systems, and a lot of those only have 2 ports. Even if you have to unplug the CD-ROM, plug that hard drive in, pull your data off from that hard drive, and then take it back out and put your CD-ROM back in service.
Yeah.
So you have a purpose for a CD drive these days.
How old is what?
The computer.
The one I got now, I have no idea.
Oh.
It's a refurbished. The one this is out of was 5 years old.
Yeah, you should have more than probably more than 4, at least 4 SATA ports.
5 years old. It might only have 2.
Well, it's not delegated by time per se. You can buy brand new machines that have 2 SATA ports on them, and you can buy machines years ago that had 2, 6, or 8, or 4, whatever.
Yeah,
it's all about the company you buy it from and how cheap they are.
Exactly.
So, all the
so
computers at Walmart are 2-port jobs.
So even if I go into mine, now I know where, like when I took this apart, when it comes up out of the power system and all the wire, it goes to this.
Mm-hmm.
And then a wire goes down onto the motherboard, plugs
Yep.
in.
Yep.
Then this cable keeps going, and there's another one of these things
Mm-hmm.
that's just sitting out there.
SATA drives connect independently. There's only one cable that runs each drive. You can't daisy chain SATA.
Yeah.
That I know of.
No, you can't daisy chain.
IDE you can daisy chain. You'd have a primary and a slave, or a master and a slave. SATA you only have a single drive on a single cable.
What he's talking about is the power cable.
Okay, so how do these things plug into that dock thing? You just push them in, and it's got all the connections?
Yep,
Yeah.
it's got all the connectors there.
It's probably a USB connector going in from that to the computer.
I don't know if you can see inside.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't tell, but it's got both of the
Plugs
plugs
are at
on
the
it.
back.
Hang on, let me
USB
blow you up here.
Well,
Plugs
the
are at the
USB that goes to your computer provides both power and pulls the
So the
data.
one you're talking about is this top one.
Okay. So those two things plug into in there.
Yep.
And that plugs in to a UPS port on the computer.
Yep.
So once I get all my data off of here
You
and
can format
secured,
Yeah.
I can continue to load stuff onto this also.
Yeah. Right.
If you end up getting this thing, you can actually start using that drive to store all your photographs on.
Yeah, but I wouldn't trust it. It's an over 5-year-old hard drive. When that hard drive was only supposed to last 3 to 4 years anyway, and it was in a computer that already failed itself. So by all means, use the hard drive for space, but don't trust it.
But what failed, the hard drive or the CPU?
The motherboard failed.
Then
When my computer went down, I was on Facebook. I was playing a train game that I play on there, and everything. I mean, the entire system just went blank.
Yep.
So I thought maybe a power surge or something, and I kept trying to hit the start button, and there was nothing.
Power supply could have went out on it too.
Well,
Tried that.
that's what Andy said. The power supply went. Well, I went and bought a new power supply, and nothing. Didn't do anything.
Well, what I was thinking, I said, you can never know which it is. Power supply or the motherboard. It's one of the two. But a power supply is $20. So buy the power supply and try.
Yeah, you can buy
Fortunately, I ended up buying it at Best Buy. It was the same one as the picture that you had sent me, Andy.
Sure.
And but like I said, all the connections were there. It just didn't work.
Yep.
So, but I got Best Buy will take it back within 15 days.
See, I have one of these here. Let's see here. Nope, that's not the one I've got. Hang on. I've got something similar. I've got the other one pulled up here.
That's what I have. Same kind of thing you're talking about. Just a loose cable. And I just throw my hard drive down on the desk and plug it up.
Hang on. Keep selecting the wrong one.
Well, we need to take this over to the other room. We've already hit our hour mark anyway, and we've gotten off the trains. All right, maybe y'all can hear me now that I unmuted my mic.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Because we done got off topic of trains, so we done overdone the hour mark anyway, so.
You wanted to use that for JMRI, so we're helping them.
And his train game.
And his train game.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of trains,
Oh,
we had some good news last weekend.
What's
Wow.
that?
Remo will be at Train Fest.
Mm.
Yeah, I seen your post on Facebook about it. You got to do some repairs to your bridge module.
So you're going to be there?
Oh yeah, I was contacted right away. Well, I think what they wanted that up there.
Yeah.
I went to the Belvedere show 2 weeks ago, and I had heard from somebody up there that says that they were going to bring in Fremo in 2022, but I know who the run master is, and he says, I'd like to see if I can get it this year. So I heard from him, and he says, we are up there this year. 100 by 500 foot space or something like that.
Wow.
And you're going to take up 28 feet.
50 by 100, I think is what he had.
Yeah. They may actually go to a second building if they got a lot of people they want. Who knows?
Okay, Train Fest is more of layouts versus Amherst, which is everything.
It's a combination. You
I've
get all the manufacturers.
I've never been to Train Fest, and I only live an hour and a half away from it.
Yeah. I'm always there. Every November.
This year.
Andy's fixing to do a show in virtual reality now.
Oh. I play with my new goggles for my drone.
Phil,
Yes.
you there?
Yes.
I meant to ask you, you were talking about using a pencil to fill in those lines.
Yeah.
Are you
that one?
Are you covering them with dull coat or something afterwards?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's got one more coat of dull coat to go on. I've got to hit the lower part of the locomotive too, all the walkways and stuff. I got to do some rusting on the grading in that yet. And then I'll hit that with dull coat. And at the same time, I'll hit the dull coat with that and then put the windows back in and start putting it together and putting all the grab irons that hook to the two, like the ladder rails in the back. And
Curtis,
Yes.
check the show chat because CSX Rail Line just posted an Amazon link for you.
And he likes your cat.
It's
or
on the
somebody else
YouTube
likes
chat.
Yeah, I posted one for him in the group chat on here too. Take him to Tiger Direct.
Yeah. All right, we're coming up on hour 10, and so I think we'll shut this one down and call it a night.
Okay, but Phil, I want to see pictures of that when you're done.
okay. I'm sure I'll have them up someplace.
Okay.
MeWe.
MeWe, Facebook. I'm still on Facebook.
Yeah.
I got two
That's all
groups,
mine.
so I'm on there. But
Okay.
it was just something else that was, had came out. And
What the heck is a MeWe?
it's like Facebook. It's one of these startup things. It's supposedly, I don't know. They say they're not going to sell your information and do this stuff like Facebook
it's
has.
a no
so.
BS. No BS.
It's
site.
taking over G Plus, right? It's taking
Yeah.
over G Plus.
They're
Yeah,
trying
they're
to
not
build
gonna,
it like G Plus.
It's hard to say it's taken over G Plus since
Well-
in the last year there's been 47 new social networks like MeWe come up. I've watched, by all means, I hope it succeeds, but I've watched them come and go, and Facebook stay. So I don't like Facebook either, but that's where the people are.
Well, they
found
keep
a way
putting
to
they keep putting enough people in jail. They're gonna lose.
I understand that, but Facebook has blocked. What they say, 28,000 people or something, and they have 4 billion users. So that's like 0.004% of their user base. So if they lost that user base, I mean, more of their user base dies per day than they have ever lost. So it's tough. I hate Facebook. I really do.
I need to shut this thing down.
All right.
We can talk Facebook in the other room. I want to say thank you to everybody over in the chat that came in. Yeah, I know we kind of drifted tonight a few times. I want to thank everybody up here on the panel, too. Good seeing you, Phil. And
You too, everybody. Hope you're keeping dry,
Yep.
Bob.
I am.
Good.
They
Good.
let us know when you're going back to jail, Curtis. We'll see if we can't sneak a file into you.
All right, I appreciate it.
Only give him a day.
Maybe a virtual file, but hey,
Yeah, well,
All right. Y'all have a good one.
I wish I could find a virtual file to get into their computers and. Never mind, I can't say that on the air.
All right, we'll catch y'all later. Have a good one. We'll see you next week.